We go. Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible for healing, one brave word at a time. And here today to help me with that mission is Tara De Leon, who is the lead author of a book that we have coming out soon called Hot Mess to Hot Mom: Transformational Tools for Thriving After Childbirth and Beyond. Welcome, Tara.
Thanks so much for having me.
I love this book. All right, you guys, let me tell you a little bit about Tara. She is a personal trainer, professor of health, fitness, and exercise studies, podcaster, speaker, and author. Tara helps people feel badass and confident by teaching them to lift weights and get strong, healthy, and empowered. She specializes in women's fitness and loves to help women go from hot mess to hot mom. So, Tara, why this book? Tell us your story.
So, the inspiration for this book came on the morning of my son's first birthday. He was born in July of 2020, so peak COVID, at that time. And I missed out on a lot of things during pregnancy, like baby showers and, maternity photos and things like that. So, once he arrived, I was, not wanting to miss out on anything else. So I decided to throw him like a big first birthday party. And we invited all of our friends and our friends' kids and everything. And I was racing around that morning trying to get everything ready for the party. And I decided to hop in the shower real quick. And hopefully would be fully clothed by the time that guests started arriving. And I looked down in the shower and I realized I hadn't shaved my legs in like weeks or months. Like, it had been a minute. And it kind of like, I was like disappointed in myself, like, oh my God, woman, your baby is like a year old. Like, you are no longer in that hibernating postpartum period. You're like back to work, you're getting back into your pre-baby life. Like, get your shit together. So for me, it was the unshaved legs that were kind of my wake up call. And I remember thinking it would be so great if there was just like a checklist of things I could do to make me feel like I kind of was back on top of my game. And, the things that new moms need to do, like financially to prepare for their kids' future and, maybe like get their estate in order, things like that. But also things that I needed to do for myself to feel like, I was back in control of things. And then I thought somebody should write a book on that. And I kind of looked into it and I realized no such book existed, at least not in those terms. Most of the things we see geared at new moms are for baby's sake, right? Oh, yes, you're a new mom. Here's how you can better take care of this baby. But nobody says, hey, you're a new mom. Are you okay? Are you good? So that's what I decided to do. And then I kind of collected this all-star team of authors that would help me with their respective areas that were, way better than I could have done by myself. And here we are.
That question, you kind of got me in the heart a little bit. Like, hey, new mom, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I mean, my mom might have asked me that, but that might have been it. Like, no one out there was asking that question because everybody is so baby focused.
Yeah.
And it's an important, important question, right? Um, wh- what do you think is the most important thing you want moms to know about this stage of parenting?
I think it's so easy to get lost in taking care of a newborn, and it's such a special time, right? But I think a lot of us are so caught up in that we forget that we're worthy of time and energy for ourselves too. It's not just all about taking care of the baby. It's like you still have to be a human at the end of this phase. So I think if we could give moms permission to like take up a little bit of space and energy for themselves, the world would be a better place for sure.
We're going to talk a little bit about more about our co-authors in this book in a minute, but there were a couple of chapters that were just so beautifully mom focused, and let's nourish mom back to the place that she can be strong enough, to do all the things that she has to do. I
Mhm.
know, I am so excited about some of the topics in this book. I wish so much that I had had it 24 years ago, after my first was born. The tools here, you guys, are holistic, like in all of the books that we publish around here. But Tara, tell everyone, why is that important for moms, that holistic aspect and the kinds of things that are in your book?
Yeah, so what really made me think about that was I went to my doctor probably about 6 months postpartum, and I said, "Hey, my libido's like gone. When does that come back? Like it would be nice to have that again." And she was kind of just like, maybe like when your kid goes to college." And I was like, "Wait, what? I'm supposed to live the next like 18-ish years like not caring at all about that?" And she goes, maybe you could find some sort of like herbal supplement on the internet. And I was like so shocked because I'm like, hello, that is so dangerous. And also, that's why I'm here. You're a doctor. You're supposed to know about these things. And she was just kind of blew it off like, yeah, welcome to motherhood. And I just, again, I feel moms deserve better, you know?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I know that a lot of people have these kinds of stories. I would love to call out some of the traditional ways that we're taken care of by our doctors. And I hope you all are listening. It takes an integrated, holistic approach to really help anyone dealing with any issue back to their peak health and wellness, right? Mind, body, soul, spirit, which is the
Mhm.
other reason I love this book so much, because we're going to hit on all the topics. And I know that you join me in a huge thank you to your co authors for pouring their hearts, souls, and master tools into these pages. What message do you have for them? And let's talk about them for a minute.
Oh, I'm just so honored that so many of these amazing women said yes to this project. It takes a lot of effort to write a book or write a chapter in a book. And I know that they're all busy, like badass boss babes doing their thing out there. But I think that all of us kind of came together with that that common desire to help other women, especially other moms who've maybe been struggling with a little bit of this and didn't have that holistic care when they needed it. So I really feel like just so blessed to have them as a part of the project. Really.
Definitely. Again, huge, huge thank you to all of them who are experts in their fields. These aren't ordinary mom authors, you guys,
Yeah.
right? They're experts saying, "Hey, this is a way that you can move forward and really thrive." And especially, I know you and I talked about in the beginning about this stage after childbirth where you are a mess. Like there's so many reasons everything is a mess and chaotic and overwhelming and all the things, right? And I believe that this book gives, not only the moms, but everyone who's taking care of the moms too and helping out a way forward in terms of resources. Anything else you want to say about that?
I was just thinking about the resources and one of the chapters advocates like just resting for like 42 days. And that seems like so long, right? Like, oh my God, 42 days of doing nothing. But like, that's not even, I mean, we took 9 months to grow this child. So 42 days to recover from it is really such a short time. But in our culture here, that seemed so ridiculous. But I really feel like having the resource that says, hey, it's okay for you to take that rest. Not only do you need it, you deserve it, and it's going to set you up for the next 42 years. Like, I mean, that's just amazing.
I'm glad that you brought that topic up, because that was one of the chapters that I think about in the collection that was like, whoa, that's going to give moms permission because it's necessary.
Mhm.
And you were right to say culture too, because man, do we have a backwards kind of culture, especially for working moms
Oh,
who are
yeah.
moving back into the workforce or whatever. Yeah. What else about that did you want to
I
talk
mean,
about?
I feel like my biggest pet peeve when it comes to new moms is talking about bouncing back and getting your body back. And it's hard not to like talk about that in the context of this book because we do talk about feeling like your pre-baby self and, exercising and return to exercise, but it's so not in the context of getting your body back. It's in the context of feeling good again, you
Y-
know?
yes. And honestly, you will never be the same. Not your
Right.
body, not your mind, not your finances, not your any. I mean, think about that for a minute. Like, and we're all talking about let's get back to pre. No,
Yep. There's no going back.
no. And but there's a really wonderful way forward, right?
Hmm.
And that's where I think you're doing moms such an incredible service by putting these chapters together and showing them that they can get a lot of things back in a different way, but really to kind of redefine the whole experience.
Yeah. I read something once that says that once you are pregnant, some of the baby's cells will actually like make its way into your body. And then they remain there for like the rest of your life. So even if you had a pregnancy that didn't actually like go to full term, like it's still irrevocable. Can I talk today? Irrevocably like changes your composition, right?
Yeah.
So it just like is this huge thing that we kind of brush off as like, oh, you had a baby, cool. But really, like internally, like so much is going on. And you're right, you'll never feel like back. There's no going back to who you were. It's moving forward.
The identity crisis can sometimes be very real for both parents, all parents, and siblings and families. And so it's a kind of support I think people really need and crave. You particularly are an amazing personal trainer, and you really are helping women to work with their bodies and become strong. And I love the way that you talk about this because I can feel the mindset and the attitude. It's more about empowering women back into their strong bodies, right? Tell us more about what you do with that.
Yeah, so I actually started my personal training journey because, for all the wrong reasons, right? I was like overweight as a kid and I had low self-esteem and I got to college and somebody was like, "Hey, you should be a trainer." And I was like, "Yeah, I should do that. That is a good idea." But like that's all the thought I ever gave it was just like, "Yeah, this guy says I'd be good at this. I should do it." And it felt to me like, "Oh, here's the secret. I'm going to learn the secrets to like health and thinness, forever and ever for the rest of my life. So it'll just really benefit me." And then I kind of got into my journey as a trainer and I realized, well, I'm not actually working out myself all day. So probably this isn't the secret for me. But it became so much more empowering for me to be able to help people that came in and felt like their bodies weren't good enough or their bodies weren't deserving or worth it and to kind of teach them to be strong. I really feel like when you're physically strong in the weight room, it makes you stronger to deal with everything that life throws at you. So being able to do that is really a huge blessing for me. And then as I got further along in my career, I really struggled to get pregnant. It took me 5 years and a ton of drugs and surgery. It took a lot to get me pregnant, not to mention the money that we had to put out there. But it in on that journey, I realized that exercise is really helpful when it comes to fertility. So I started working with women and men who were trying to get pregnant. And it was really successful. Of course, I don't take credit for like getting everyone pregnant, but being able to kind of help them on their journey and get their bodies ready for pregnancy, labor, delivery, and then parenthood has been really rewarding for me.
Yeah, I love that. um, Strength and flexibility, and of course, your mindset, I think all follow you as you age as the things that will keep you very healthy and enjoying your life for a really long time, especially, of
Yeah,
course, with your kids, right?
right. It's all about the quality of life, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
being healthy enough to keep up with your kids is
exactly.
such a huge thing, right? So that's what it's about.
So you have a lot going on aside from this book project, this amazing book that we're about to launch. Tell everyone like how people work with you and what you have going on. I know you just got back from speaking at a wonderful conference. Tell us everything.
Yeah, so I'm busy. I'm a mom. I have a 3.5-year-old now, so he keeps me really super busy. But when I'm not doing the mom thing, I work at a gym in Maryland and I see clients one-on-one and in small groups. Um, I'm also the manager of the training department, so that has its own challenges, which is fun most of the time, but definitely more challenging than I expected it to be. I host a podcast. One of my clients came to me a few years ago and was like, "Hey, I was thinking we should do a podcast that is a dietitian, which is her, a personal trainer, which is me, and a mental health therapist. And what would happen if we talked about rebranding wellness, and kind of teaching people what actual health and self-care is instead of bubble baths and candles. Maybe it's getting enough sleep or moving your body." So we've been doing that for a little over a year now. And that is a ton of fun. We love the podcast. It's called Wellness Rebranded, and it's available anywhere you want to listen. So we would be honored if you would give us a follow there. And then, yes, I just got back from speaking at a conference out in Los Angeles, which I was gone for less than 24 hours. So that is insane and highly not recommended. Um, Definitely take the time to spend another night or two if you ever make it that far from home. But I essentially teach personal trainers like how to further their careers. So how to get started and make sure they're successful, and then also where to go once you've got your full client book, then what? Because this is a hard industry to retire from. So, we have to have kind of lots of irons in the fire, and I kind of open their eyes to that type of thing. It's
Fantastic.
a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot of amazingness. All right, so just kind of pointing back to our listeners today and thinking about the moms that are on this journey, this hot mess to hot mom book. Again, it's filled with practical, first amazing healing stories, but then practical strategies and tools. So we know you all are going to love it. But Tara, any last words to those listeners who maybe just are starting off? Maybe they are just post childbirth by a little bit. Like, what would be your message today to those moms?
I mean, every stage of parenting is different, and I'm not very far into it, but I definitely have stages that I loved and some that weren't maybe my favorite. But the good news is it's always changing. So hang in there, and whatever you're dealing with now, in a few more weeks or maybe a few more months won't be the same anymore. So even if it looks like it's bleak and what did you do? Hang in there because it changes very quickly.
Hang in there is really awesome advice. And as speaking to you all as a mom of a 24 and 21-year-old now, like whole other stage of the game, I will back Tara up and say it changes by the minute sometimes, definitely by the month, and then by the year. And this goes by in a blink, y'all. So take a
Yeah.
breath, enjoy your moments, enjoy the journey, right? It's a quick one. Oh my goodness. Tara, this book is amazing. Thank you so much for what you do in the world, and thanks for being here today to share it with everyone.
Yeah. Thanks so much for helping me. I really appreciate it.
So, you guys, the book is going to be coming out soon, and you're invited for the book launch party. We're going to be on Zoom April 15th, and that's going to be the Eastern time zone. I've got some information down below for you. And let's see, I'm making sure that date is right. That date is not right. Um, April 5th, not 15th. Somebody typed a typo in my notes. April 5th, we're going to party. So join us. I'll have all the hot mess to hot mom authors with us, and we'll be dropping some inspiration and wisdom for you then. And then if you're listening to this anytime after that date, That just means that you need to hop over to Amazon because the book is ready for your purchase, and we can't wait for you to tell us how you loved it. And lastly, everyone, remember your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.